15-year-old Russian figure skater being allowed to compete at the Olympics despite failing a drug test. Kamila Valieva has been cleared by the Court of Arbitration for Sport. It says the age of the athlete as well as the timing of the failed test need to be considered. No matter who comes out on top, there will be no medals and no podium ceremony until this is sorted out. For anyone who finishes in the top three, the Olympic Committee says it would be inappropriate to find out whether a different approach to anti-doping is needed. We turn to Professor Cora Burnette of the University of Johannesburg's Olympic Studies Center. Professor, thank you so much for your time. Let's start off with the Court of Arbitration for Sport's reasoning for allowing Valieva to compete in the women's figure skating. What do you make of their reasons?
I think first and foremost, she's a minor. She's only 15 years old. And as she also alerted the audience to that, the first test that she was actually tested positive was on Christmas Day. It was the 25th of December, 2021. And then the international the IOC had its own doping test on the 27th of January, and then she was clean. So there was some kind of issue because CAS needs to look also after 6 hours of deliberation, had to also look at who's responsible to report the positive tests from December. And that brings the whole onus on the Russians. And we know very much that they've been banned from in 2019 from international competitions. And they even competed only under the Olympic Committee's flag, not the Russian flag. So actually it takes the whole issue to a scale that is far beyond the 15-year-old or the athlete. It takes the argument to country level and to international level. And the geopolitics. So it's about Russia, first and foremost, and it's not, and she as a minor cannot be responsible. There is a WADA stipulation saying that as a minor, an adult or an organization like her coach, Itiri Tuberetsi, is actually taking some of the responsibility. So it's a thorny issue. It's not straightforward that she is actually liable and needs to be punished as an individual athlete.
She might not be to blame for this entire incident, but is this not unfair on the other athletes who are competing in the women's figure skating? Because this is someone who's failed a doping test. Should she not be removed regardless of whose fault it is?
I agree with you, and I think if you look at the stakeholders, it's very interesting because there's so much at stake here. The International Skating Union has got a pure as ice anti-doping program that they roll out. The Russians comply with their anti-doping agency, comply with all the stipulations of WADA. Now here's the athlete. Surely, if you look at what happened in Tokyo 2021, Tokyo 2022 2020 is actually there. Richardson, it was a United Nations athlete that was banned because she used marijuana, but it was announced by the UN anti-doping agency. So yes, and that's why the IOC has only got the mandate to say we're not going to award a medal. And I think 2 months or even longer from now, it might be an issue, and I could say maybe they're going to then say take away the medals and then make an argument to say, okay, now United Nations, who's second, going to get the gold, then Japan, and then actually Canada. So it might be a whole shift, but each stakeholder can only operate within their mandate. And currently the IOC has made the call, no medals. They cannot remove her without the consent and actually the instruction of CAS, which is the Court of Arbitration for Sport. And they have deliberated that we need now to focus on who's actually the guilty party. But you are quite right in your argument to say it's not fair because it's about clean sport, about the integrity of sport. And if we look at the consequence, it could be shift that they say now only athletes at the age of 70 can actually participate. We know the quadruple jump that she did is really very, not even, is harmful to her health because athletes that make, or figure skaters that make that specific jump can actually end up with serious health issues, even hip replacements, knee replacements, etc. So it's much more complex, but the argument of fairness is definitely at play here.